you doing today, Harlan?
I'm all right. No complaints.
Yeah, well, thanks for hopping in the chat room here. This is just the kind of day that we want to have you on, and we are going to throw one ticker at you right off the hop here. You're gonna be so tired after this.
Oh
PKI,
gosh.
PKI, Perkin Elmer. I remember this stock. I haven't traded it in a long time. What is the technical look for PKI?
Ooh, okay. Well, you can see it made a beeline from let's call it 44 right up to new highs, broke into new highs. So, that straight up beeline. It looks like an air pocket. I kind of call them air pockets, thin air, and in weakness, issues can retrace that rather easily. Not saying it's going to, but you got to, now that it broke into a new high, just line up your tops back in March. So, yeah, low 46s could be a short-term support. Right now, there's just no trade for me here.
Right,
I don't like to
but
chase
what if you
stocks that just
what
went
if
straight up.
okay, let's say you picked it up on the breakout over 44 here. I mean, are you keeping in your stop at 42? I mean, are you tempted to take profits here? Because what I see, I mean, it's flat here in the session, but these kind of formations to me are really more reliable than a lot of other things I see. You had an old high at 47.53. And then you had the low from yesterday. Well, it was below that. You have two lows or three lows between 46.74 and 46.96. I like to see it just get back over 47 and keep rallying, or else I think you could easily lose a buck down to 46.02. We got another symbol coming out of here from a new member, Rob Hood. He's glad he found our show and he loves our guests. He might be talking about you, Harlan.
Yes,
MTRX.
NTRX. You sure that's a symbol? NTRX?
Mike, Tom,
Oh,
Rob,
Mike Tom, Matrix.
yeah, Matrix.
Yeah.
Had it,
Fresh breakout.
right?
Yep, fresh breakout yesterday. Broke into a new high, just over 35. That's your new support. If we get into some severe weakness in the market, you're more of a better support is the 34. You can clearly see that break over 34. So it wouldn't be so, because I know there's a lot of people that like to buy issues breaking out of bases, and this is one of them. But there's two types of supports. There's the support at the 35 breakout into a new high. There's a stronger support at 34. So for me, I draw a line across 34. As long as it stays above 34, it's fine.
right. And that's a new all-time high in the issue. Cold Sluck is coming here with CHRW. Just take a look at that one real quick. Nice move there. Same thing. Breaking out of a base here.
Yep, pretty much. Just draw a line across, and that becomes new support.
Yeah.
The rule of thumb is when issues break out of bases, that old resistance tends to become new support, which is good because it gives you a marker to guide you. So, in terms of weakness, because, let's say you buy it up here and the next thing you know, the stock starts rolling over and you go, oh, I got to get out of here. Just relax. Just relax. You know where support is. That's where you want to see it get defended. If it doesn't get defended there, then that's something else. That's other information that's telling you, yeah, you might want to get out of it. So, but for right now, just draw a line across that, what is it, about 59 and a half-ish?
Yeah, I think we talked about this one earlier, and man, the 62s looks tough. I'd like to looking at some daily tops in there, so I'd like to see it plow through this 62 as well. Let's
Yeah, I got
see.
no qualms about it. I mean, if you own it, great, enjoy the ride. Just be aware of where support is so that you can manage your risk.
Okay, let's.
I'm more of a pullback guy. I wouldn't touch it, this or Matrix, only because I'm a guy that likes issues that are in clearly defined uptrends that are pulling back off their highs.
Now you are. You're very consistent with that. OPK, Opco Health Incorporated. JDOT got into this issue here. Boy, what's sticking out to you, Harlan, on this OPK? Right, just sticking out like a sore
Well,
thumb.
I'm going to plead my fifth, which is if you have to squint to see a pattern, it's not there.
What about the nine?
And
What about what
I'm
about
not really seeing anything for me.
what about the 950 level here? Two tops at 946, 948.
Well,
OPK.
it's back up into that supply from March and April. So if it can sit up here, put in a little chart time, put in some sort of pullback off highs pattern, or just go sideways because stocks consolidate a run two ways. They either pull back and digest that run, or they go sideways through time. So it's one or the other. For me, if it goes sideways in here for, maybe 3, 4, 5 days and then breaks into a new high, meaning above the 950, then you can take the trade if you wish. The other side is if it pulls back, what if it pulls back to, the 50-day moving average? And it's got a nice pullback off highs like it had in late March. Then there's another trade setup. Trade what you see. And my strategy is, I'm looking where is my prime entry points where I don't have to chase something. So, based on that and what you say, I don't really have anything bad to say about it. Kind of neutral, I guess, for right now.
You
But
brought
time
up
moves on.
Yeah, you brought up an excellent point here, and Dennis and I, something that we've talked about and we like to stress is when these institutional orders are in the market and they'll peck away, peck away, peck away at it. A stock like Exxon Mobil or a big thick stock, they usually don't go through that big size until it spends a couple days and closes right near it. And then at the beginning of the session, you have more liquidity and it doesn't have as far to run. That's why if OPK gets back up to 950 today, it's going to it already had a 30-cent run. You'd have to bank on whether or not it's going to have an additional 30-cent run on that. So moving on to the
Right.
next one here, ExxonMobil still hanging out over 100 here, but boy, look at that 102 level, huh? Someone has an opinion there.
Yeah, exactly. Short term here, actually, from a daily chart over the last month or two, it's just going sideways. For the most part, it's really just been chewing you alive, with what, 2.5 point swings. So, are there better places to, it's going to cost you, what, $10,000 to buy 100 shares? Where else can you put that money that's going to show you a better pattern, more fluctuation, point wise, more bang for your buck. So, for right now, I got nothing bad to say about it. It's just chewing around.
Yeah, you got to respect that 102 level. If you get a look at that
hmm
today, Johnny Spangler, boy, that's
What is
sure.
nice,
Yeah, that is
I'm
nice.
sorry, go ahead.
I'm just saying for this one, I'd let it chew it out between 100 and 102, and then if it finally cleared 102, I think it would go back up to new highs. Whereas if it gets back down below 100 and takes that out, you could easily bet back at 98.
There it is. That's exactly what it is. Because the 98 is what? It's a support level back in early April. So here again, what we talk about on the show all the time, it's all about support, resistance, and things of that caliber. And that's really, helps you immensely. What I do like about it is you see it came down, it hit 102 at the end of May, sold off to the 50-day. There it was. There was your little pullback off highs right there. Stocks in a nice uptrend. It pulls back off highs, actually off that first 102 in May, that big thrust down there to just over 100, that one bad day. This looks more like what I call an ABC pullback off highs. The first thrust down there, mid-May, is your A. Then it bounces up to 102. That's your B. And your C comes right down to the 50-day. So I call those an ABC pullback off highs. That being said, let's look at TRN.
Okay?
And, I don't know what, I'm looking at a daily chart.
Me too.
Let me see. I'm still on XOM on my screen here.
Yeah, there's a little bit of a delay, Harlan. Don't tell our listeners here.
Mm-hmm.
That's
Out
so.
of the bag.
So that's so the joke can beat me if I use a bad word.
There you go. You can back up to that one chart. Well, you can see it. You got the big thrust off the highs. And then you get, what can be considered a dead cat bounce up in here. And, is this going to pull a ABC down to the 50-day, just like the cat? Or even right where your cursor was, at the beginning of April there, you get that thrust down at the end of May, bounces up a little bit, comes back down. So looking at this stock, for me, it could be tracing out an ABC pattern to support at the 50-day. And the 50-day is, let's call it 77. So think about ABC, to hold support at 77, and then it starts to want to move higher, then, that might be a trade there to take a look at. It also reminds me, before that swing down from 87, reminds me of SanDisk. What's that say about SanDisk?
Right, right.
So,
Okay.
you
How
know,
how about Triple D? Are we looking at dead money here? The stock has tried to mount a couple rallies here. Let me take a guess, Harlan. You're not interested in this thing until it gets back above and holds 52.
well, it's building a pattern, and I am watching this one. Right now, dryer line across the 44 and change range. That April lows. That's your new support. It could literally come down there, and if that acts as support and it launches, that could be a double bottom. In the meantime, I'm just lining up my tops here after that 56, 57 spike and then yesterday's high. So it's pulling back off its highs. So it just needs more chart time. SSYS does look better,
Okay, let's take.
which is another stock in that space.
Okay, so you like to look at stocks. Yeah, this one is starting to get some resistance here. I don't know. You got a down market here, so I don't know if you're going to be able to get the momentum. Almost an exact double top, 92.69, 92.76. Backed way off that here, so ways away from resistance. Twitter, finally, after all these upgrades, everybody and their brother upgrading this thing, finally, Twitter finally had a move here. Do you expect this move to continue?
Well, right now resistance is the 50-day, and that's hanging around 37.77. It would also be a gap fill. We talked, 3 weeks ago, we were talking about this stock where it was really tight, pulling back off highs. One could say it put in a double bottom, and that was your trade. And it took right off and went from 31 to 35 in a heartbeat. That's a great pattern. All of that stuff in May, just before that big spike up, that's a nice pattern that you want to look for in stocks that are in the process of changing a trend from down to up. So Sprats, so SFM, I think it was, same setup. We talked about that last week. Looked almost identical to Twitter, and it too took off, which leads me to Constellation Brands. STZ, I think it is.
Mm-hmm.
You, you can kind of see,
Yep.
off of a daily chart, this thing, hit that 84 and change, and it's been nice and tight, pulling back to the 50-day. So, it's pulling back off highs to support.
Okay, I don't know if you follow the gold futures here, but you could definitely give us a look at the GLD here. Gold caught that bid at the 1240 level, had a rise up. Now still trying to rally here. I don't know. What do you say? Just leaning on those lows between 120 as a swing trade here, and see if you can get back up to the 124 level.
Well, the 124 zone, there's a lot of overhead supply there. So anybody who bought it in April and May, they're like going, woof, I'm break even, I'm out of here. But then there's also, you have a gap fill there that could take it up to 120. I'm going to call it 123-ish. So you get a lot of overhead supply and resistance at 123, 124. I'm just not seeing, anything. I guess if you're there and you bought it around the 120, if it breaks that low from 5-6 days ago, maybe you just get out of it. But I'm just, not seeing anything here that makes me want to really get excited about going long this issue.
Okay, AVNR has had a nice run up. You're a pharma company here, so always subject to news, but boy, he's had a real nice run here. Yesterday's high, 559. We traded up in the pre-market up to 585, so I'm keeping that was actually that was from yesterday. Pre-market trading today did get back up to 5 little bit over 580. I'm still keeping an eye on 558. We're trading right here at yesterday's high, 559. Need to see follow through that. What do you think, Harlan?
Pretty much. I guess I'm looking at the overall pattern here and just line up that those lows of May at around what I call it 434. Just line up all those lows, and it's in a trend channel right here, with it shorter term push and trend channel resistance. Everything between May and today.
Okay,
That's
before
kind of
we
what I'm seeing.
okay, Kinross Gold here. We're looking at the obviously the gold market here. This thing chart sticking out at me is the $4 here. You need to bust above $4, huh?
KGC.
Yeah, Kinross Gold, smaller price, lower price gold stock.
Yeah, it's going to have some trouble at the 50-day. The 50-day, when an issue, the rule of thumb is this. When issues are below the 50-day tends to act as resistance. When they're above the 50-day tends to act as support. So you can clearly see the stock, off of the March highs is in, just a downtrend. Now you're getting up into that level again, just like GLD, where there's a lot of people that own it in the 4 zone. So, if you bought it at say 410 and the next thing you know it went down to 370, your psychology is, man, just get me back to break even. So, so I don't really see anything here, for me, at this moment in time that's going to want me to step up and buy this issue right here. And you just got to look at it. It's in a downtrend and it's a dead cat bounce up into some resistance zones.
Final market thoughts, Harlan. S&Ps,
Well, it's
SPY.
about time. Think about it. It's about time. The S&Ps, you walk in the morning, you look, and finally we're getting some weakness. It's about time. It's healthy. It's well deserved. Just a question of, is it going to stick, or are they gonna, with the famous into the close? Is it just gonna, all this weakness gonna disappear and we'll be flat by the day? I don't know. But it is extended. The NASDAQ composite is extended short term. So, as far as the indexes go, for me personally, there's no trade here because I see no patterns that I can work with.
Okay. All right. We've had Harlan Pyan on here, all about trends. Harlan, thanks. You ripped off some symbols there. That was a great segment. Thanks for being on.
You bet. Thanks for having me. See you guys next week.